Welcome to another episode of Life is About More Than Living, a podcast. Today's episode is entitled The Impact of AI in Our Fast Changing Business World. It's going to be a conversation with Sébastien Night, the founder and CEO of OneTake AI. The quote for this episode is taken by Tim Cook, one of the founders of Apple. Tim Cook reportedly said, "What all of us have to do is to make sure we're using AI, that is artificial intelligence, in a way that is for the benefit of humanity, not to the detriment of humanity." So, with that being said, let's just dive into it on this Friday morning, U.S. time. Our guest is streaming live from Dubai this afternoon, where he is located at. And you can read his bio on your own leisure. However, he will introduce himself, and we'll go from there. This episode today will focus on a few key topics, though: the impact of AI on marketing and business, launching and marketing and growing a business in 2026, growing multiple successful businesses in a world of different fields, and succeeding as a father and CEO, some of his backstory. Then traveling the world, some of his backstory, running companies remotely for 20 years. So let's welcome Sébastien Night. Sébastien, I hope you pronounce your name correctly. Welcome to the show. Um,
Hi,
let's take a
Alfred.
deep dive into this thing. Introduce yourself. Let's have some fun with it as you enlighten, encourage, empower people to make their lives better by using AI, whether professionally or personally.
So I am the CEO of OneTake AI. We are an AI company, obviously. What we do is we work with experts. Those would be coaches, consultants, public speakers, people who create online courses. And typically, our audience are people who have expertise and knowledge and they want to share it, but they are not what you would call a content creator, YouTuber, or Instagrammer. So they are not native to those platforms. And so the work of taking a recording of their workshop, masterclass, or presentation and editing that into something that they would feel happy promoting online, usually with classic tools, would take them several days of work for one YouTube video, or it would cost them thousands of dollars to outsource that. So what we do is we make it possible for them to just upload the raw footage to OneTake AI, and then our AI instantly edits that, removes all of the mistakes, the awkward silences, the background
Hmm.
noise. It adds titles and transitions. OneTake composes a special like music track for this specific video based on the theme and the rhythm of the video, and then translates it in 30 languages with while keeping your voice in there. So it's helping experts increase their reach tremendously and also keep the relationship, the human relationship with their audience, because most startups that you might hear about that do AI and video, typically they would do AI avatars, like generative video. They would just make up 3D or fake version of you that speaks to the camera. And
Hmm.
this is actually not very valuable content usually. And we have found that the people that actually have real expertise, they want to be the person on the video and to record themselves or to have someone record them, so that they have a real human relationship with the viewers. It's just that the work of the editing is so painful and costly that before one take, there was no solution for them to be able to access their audience. So that's the problem that we solve.
Mm. Yeah, that's the one thing I have discovered personally, thanks to using StreamYard. I'm not really tech savvy, so I allow it is to create AI shorts or reels when it's
Mhm.
all over. Um, and from there, I usually post them because I'm a firm believer in people seeing the people now that I'm using this technology
Mhm.
versus, like you said earlier, fake images, memes, or whatever. And, and it's really increased my viewership because now you can see the real person behind the scenes and they're explaining and talking as you're doing, if only for 30 seconds to a minute. Uh, and it's also pushed the audio to a different level
Mhm.
because those that don't want to see it, they're not getting clear, more concise eh, snippets of what the show could all be about. So I
Okay.
thank you for explaining that. I now see that I also did something this morning that I need to try to correct, but it's okay. It's showing overlay of the podcast on top of the podcast. That's all good. Uh, so in this conversation, in just basic layman terms for someone starting out, I guess, layperson terms, uh, that's kind of afraid of using AI, how would you address that person? What would you say to that person?
When you say a layperson, you mean
A person, a
individual,
beginner,
someone who's
someone not
not.
really familiar with it, that's kind of uncomfortable with using it.
Okay, so I will make a big distinction, first of all, whether somebody
Okay.
is wanting to use AI in a professional manner.
Hmm.
So because they run a business or because in their role in a business, they need to use AI tools to be more productive and to save them
Hmm.
time. That's one side. As an individual, using AI is more. There are some use cases for this is not what we do at OneTake, right? We don't
No
do.
problem. It's just I'm going to touch on it because there are some out here that may dabble in it to see if it's worth the time, and they might fully understand the transition from here and what they're doing
Mhm.
to how you explain how it could be used. They're not really sure about it. Is what I'm trying to say. So.
Okay. So if somebody is trying to, you have to think through the outcome. And that's why I
Hmm.
was saying in the personal sphere, using AI is, aside from the novelty factor, is not immediately, as of the time that we're speaking, is not what's going to bring you the happiness results.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Because if you're using say AI tools, I've met people who do this where they would use whatever ChatGPT, Gemini, or Grok or whatever to like arbiter their arguments with their loved
Okay.
ones. That will not go well, and not go well because it might feel like, oh wow, it's able to express what I mean with better words, and actually that is not true. You lose a lot of the nuance of what you would have been able to write. It
Hmm.
feels like it writes better than you, but like for personal matters you don't want to do that, because there's also the matter that authenticity matters a lot. And so in personal matters,
Authenticity
using
matters a lot. Okay.
ChatGPT to send an apology, what the signal that is being sent to the person is, you didn't even matter enough for me to apologize to
Hmm.
you. So I used a tool to do that. So in the personal
Hmm.
sphere, that's why I think we have to be more cautious about having AI intrude there. On the In the business sphere, that's where I think AI is the most useful. That's where I
Hmm.
think it's going to bring the most um, results and transformation in people's lives, because it enables you to. It's the computer is the bicycle for the mind, right? It enables you
Okay.
with
Okay.
the same level of effort and determination you would have spent before to get a lot more done. And the reason why this bicycle for the mind analogy is so important is because if you compare humans to any other mammal,
Hmm.
we are the least efficient. Like the amount of energy that a human being uses to walk and
Hmm.
move
Hmm.
is huge compared to how fast we are able to move. Like if you compare us to whether it's a cheetah or a gazelle,
Hmm.
they are spending less energy than we do, and they can run like 60 miles an hour, and humans
Right.
can't.
Right. Right.
So if you rank all the mammals, we are at the bottom in terms of efficiency. However, the mammal that is at the top of the rankings in terms of
Hmm.
efficiency to move is also a human
Hmm.
on a bike.
Hmm.
Like you could reach the 60 miles per hour. Well, maybe not me. I don't know about you, but a
No,
human.
no. No.
If it's a
I
downhill, I
haven't,
can
rid-
do
I
it.
haven't, ridden, I haven't, ridden, I haven't ridden a bike in over 30 years. So I don't know.
But a human, not me, not you, but Lance Armstrong can like reach those
Yeah,
speeds with
these things, yeah.
with less energy than the cheetah. And so the analogy here is that if you're using AI tools and you're using them well, you're able to expend less energy on the things that are low value. And typically for
Right.
most business owners, we are in the video field, for most business owners, editing the videos yourself is low
Hmm.
value work. Like the
Mm-hmm.
video itself, once it's done, is going to be high value for your business. But the fact that you're the person trying to add the titles and moving the things and
Mm-hmm.
adding like what color should I do the titles there,
Mm-hmm.
that work is very low value.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're able to have AI do it, it means that if you were aiming to do one video a week on YouTube and it took you 5 days of your week to edit that video, now it takes you one click to do it. Now you're able to maybe publish 3 videos on YouTube a week and still spend only an hour total on this content creation, which means that your leverage goes up tremendously. You have more time to spend with your kids, and at the same time you are getting more done. So that's why I think in the business sphere, that's where AI gives you the most leverage and value.
And that's sort of like when I think I mentioned earlier, maybe off camera, using the service I use, which is StreamYard. I mention it a lot because I get referrals from it. And that's another aspect of it. It's got built-in AI. Hit the button, boom. People can say, oh, I can try it out. There's no more me typing in, I would like you to check out StreamYard. It's a simple click. No,
Mhm.
it does it for me. And it also helps me with the editing because I have no background in editing. But the AI tool does it for me, like you said.
It's happening.
Think the service is buffering. It buffered for a second.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, my home is totally on Wi-Fi. That's why I'm looking at converting to a different type of connection.
okay.
Anywho, as in line with what you were saying, there's been a major benefit for me using the built-in AI to getting more viewers, more subscribers, more followers. Not not being tech savvy or being trained as an editor, it's it's allowed me to reach more people, like you said. So I'm living testimony of that. Uh, One of my guests earlier, like, how much time do you spend editing? I said, I point, click, and like. The AI does it. He's like, I don't know if I trust that. I'm like, it's working for me because I'm gone from maybe one subscriber every 6 months to two or three sometimes in a week,
Mhm.
simply by doing what you suggested with
Yeah,
my limited understanding of it.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, with my limited understanding of it. Um, in the area where I live in North Carolina, it's a hot area for entrepreneurship. Um, I attend, I'm attending now maybe several events a year, whether it's related to what I'm doing as a writer, speaker, poet, podcaster, or not, to network and connect with entrepreneurs, other local businesses. And this challenging, I say challenging time, may not be challenging elsewhere, but sometimes it has been challenging for some folks. What are some of your suggestions in taking AI and utilizing it as a business owner that's fully established, or perhaps as a entrepreneur just starting out? Like in my case, years ago, when I first started as a blogger, I never had an idea it would evolve to where it's evolved to now. But this day and time, um, 2026, taking your business to a different level, um, or maybe creating a new business. Uh, uh, how would you utilize? Where would you suggest people start if they have not already started doing so, with regards to the launching, the marketing, and the development of it, by embracing the tools that are currently built into some, like my, I have Chat GPT built in, Gemini built in my Google Tab laptop. Where would they start, in your opinion, to take their dream that they're now investing sweat equity into to a different level?
Okay. So the again, we have to start with the outcome. Okay.
Okay.
You want us to launch or grow a business. Um, there's a usually there's a revenue goal, like
Mm-hmm.
getting customers, and we have to understand that what AI is really good at doing is doing the 80% of the work in the middle. It's
Mm-hmm.
never going to be, well, it's never say never. It is not at the moment very good at doing the 10% at the start and 10% at the end. What I mean by
Mm-hmm.
that, let's say you say, okay, I want to expand my reach. once you have a very clear understanding of who you're trying to help and what their problems are and why their situation is currently so painful that they need a solution, once you have that understanding, AI is great at creating, like finding the themes for the videos and
Mm-hmm.
writing scripts, and like our AI does it. Most like large language models can also do it for you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could ask ChatGPT for this, um, to help you turn these 10% of the groundwork into most of the delivery, and then you only have to do the review, but you still need to do the 10%. And I think that's the part that uh, people would love to also not do, but sadly you have to. And I'll give an example.
Mm-hmm.
If you go ahead and tell AI, well, I want to sell something to women over 40, and tell me what their problems are and what I can solve, you're trying to ask it to do the first 10%, which is
Mm-hmm.
understanding the audience and their pains. You're going to get something that is so average and milquetoast that the messaging created from that will touch nobody. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
will be moved by it. And so you're just throwing things out in a sea of other like synthetic content that people are throwing out.
Mm-hmm.
And so the beginning of that still starts with the human conversations. It could be doing an online survey. It could be just meeting a few people in the places that this ideal customer is to ask the questions, and you could just record the conversation, and then from there you would put that into an AI model, either by copy pasting the recording or the
Mm-hmm.
transcript into an AI model. If it's a platform like OneTake AI, which is our platform, then just when it gets the recording, it will analyze it on its own and be able to do things for you. But you still had to do this initial thing, because there's a huge difference between if you ask an AI, tell me about the problems of Jack, and Jack is an executive at a big bank. It's going to give you
Mm-hmm.
something plausible but cookie cutter,
Mm-hmm.
and that will not resonate with the actual person. So maybe it will say, well, Jack is a very busy guy, so he has very little time, and he's under constant stress from his work. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you try to create ads or videos or blog posts that use those words, the actual real person does not resonate with it. But if you had spoken with Jack, at least one of those people, one of the real humans, they would have said, yeah, yeah, sure, I'm busy, but I think everybody is busy. Actually, my main problem right now is that because of what's happening in Hormuz, we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get, and then he's going to use like extremely precise words, and he's going to use the jargon of his job and his little universe. He's going to tell you about the things that you could not get from Googling or asking an AI.
Mm-hmm.
So the 10%, you have to do it. But then once you've done this 10%, then AI is great at branching out and helping you like create the content, clarify the offer, decide on the price, figure out which platforms make the most sense, generate 50 hooks for your ads, and then you can demultiply.
Wow. So listening to you speak, I'm like, man, Alfred, this is truly a useful tool. Uh, I've been skeptical, I'll be honest with you. Even with the results I've gotten, I've still been skeptical. But now hearing you speak as you've spoken, it's not as complicated or scary, and it's truly a tool that we all should use, whether we're a writer, podcaster, whatever business you're engaged in, startup. Uh, Sometimes people refer to me as a 60-something millennial. I took
At
that as
what?
a compliment. 60-some-year-old millennial.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, because I'm still encountering people in my age bracket, and some of those who will listen to this podcast, uh, they don't fully understand what you just AI in the context you just broke it down to. Uh, they're they're more some of the ones I've encountered are more of the mindset of I don't type this information in, and it's not really representing me, versus how you described it. Proper
Mhm.
information, the middle part. Um, yeah, as human beings, we can go faster on a bicycle than we ever could running. Uh, the analogy that you used, and to utilize this tool, AI. I made sure I included in the comments what you already have there, your website link. Uh,
It's easy to remember. It's OneTake.ai. So
yeah, yeah. Somehow I also updated it in the bio of the show. Uh, One of my main reasons for people coming on my show is that I know my reach is so much, but others can reach so many more people, enlighten more people, through to make their life about more than living, whether it's professionally or personally, which you have definitely done for me. I'm sure you're going to touch a lot of people as they do watch this in a replay, uh, and give them some great insights. The other reason is collaboration, I think, is not only build my brand, but builds yours. Whereas yours is more established in some ways now, those individuals who may be searching for entities such as your company that have the financial resources to invest in it, uh, they now have access to your company, your business, and we'll be reaching out to your website, to you and to your people to utilize it. That's another reason I also included it on LinkedIn this time, um, because there's a whole world of business professionals out there that want to get the maximum bang for their buck, as the old school saying goes, and this technology will allow that. Your
and by
company
the
has,
way, when you link to it, there is a, we do have an affiliate program. So just like I heard you referred earlier to StreamYard, which I love StreamYard. I used it for a lot when we got started with Facebook Live 2016 when they rolled out. Like I was one of the first pages in France because we had a large reach,
wow,
and StreamYard was really cool because it enabled you to stream to several platforms at the same
yeah,
time, which is really their unique proposition there. And so, yeah, just like them, we also have a referral program. So you can have a special link that you can give for people, and then that link will drive them to a demo where they can actually try it out for free. So,
yeah. That's even greater. It's even greater. It's funny. I never envisioned this when I first started this podcast. I never envisioned it of being a show that brought in business professionals. It was always about the personal story, the backstory. Um, because for whatever reason, we some of us have been conditioned to love a struggle story, and taking it beyond that, like you've done today. Um, I appreciate you taking your time out in your afternoon to come on the show. It was a challenge. I'm like Friday morning, okay, because I'm
like
up working for myself.
live session, right?
Yeah, I'm up working doing other things, but it's needed. It is needed. Your level of reach, wow, 41 countries. You've definitely made an impact on our lives with your company and your staff. Um, and thank you, sir, for coming on. Um, I think we've been on about maybe 35, 40 minutes. I was hoping my wife would join, but maybe she did not. She could not. Um, that's okay. You gave her some great insights. Um, yeah. Taking into one more question, though. And it's a question I want to ask my own son, who has built has a he's one of the most successful audiobook producers in the Southeast,
Okay.
North Carolina. And at some point, I need to get him on this podcast. And for the final question, this ties in with what you put in your initial bio. Traveling the world and renting companies remotely. It's something I'm going to pose to him because he's traveled the world. He's ran
Mhm.
his company remotely, but he's not here today. You are. And this is your time. So, one take AI and your different business ventures. How does that gel with you, your personal life and your professional life that's allowed you to do all you've done for the last 20 years, as far as traveling the world and seeing different countries? I'm asking that because it will be, I believe, a catalyst for others to know the potential of what their business models can do for them, the freedoms it can give them, the latitude that we give them? How has this personally benefited you to be able to do what you've done, travel, run the companies, and be such a seemingly happy guy this morning on the show? Listen, afternoon where you're at.
It's
Yeah,
happened for me.
yeah, that's a lot.
um, I'll 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 tell you something that was very surprising to me when I wrote a book a few years ago called it was published by a French publisher, so it's called Profession Entrepreneur Libre.
Hmm.
In English, um, you'd call it How to Be a Free Entrepreneur. And
Okay.
in order to launch the book, I did a survey of several thousand people that launched and ran their own companies. And what was fascinating to me was that the main reason that people start businesses is not for the money.
Mm.
And on average, actually, entrepreneurs on average
Hmm.
earn less than they would have if they went and got a job. So
Hmm.
if you start a business, the typical outcome is you will basically be losing about 10% of how much you would have earned as an employee, and you would also be working about 10% more than you would have
Mm.
for
Hmm.
an employee. So from that perspective, most people would think, well, it's a bad bargain. Why do people even do
Yeah, yeah.
but the reason why most entrepreneurs get started is not for the hours. It's not like because they want to work less or earn more. It's because of they are striving for freedom
Hmm.
and to create the life that they want. And that was definitely the case for me. I got my first job at the age of 21 after I graduated engineer school. It was my dream job. I had studied for 9 years to get into this specific company at this specific job at this specific salary. I got it. And then within 4 weeks, I was miserable there.
Mm.
And when you
Wow.
got everything that you wanted and you're still miserable, like there's no way out because you cannot complain. If it was the wrong company, you could say, well, I got the job that I wanted, but this company, I don't like the culture. Actually, it was the right company. If you had the not being hired for the position you wanted, you could say, well, maybe I can fight to get into that position and I'll be happier. But I got the position I wanted and I got the salary I wanted. So there's no excuse to be unhappy there. And so when I started my first business, it was really because I understood through the pain that I needed to be somewhere on my own terms, and I was aspiring for freedom. And it's the case for most people that start their companies. But what was interesting when I did the study for the book is that we also found out that most entrepreneurs lose track of the initial goal after a couple of years into the business. So what happens is they let outside environments dictate how they do business. So they think that the price of their product is going to be the price that the market imposes, and the number of hours that they're going to work is whatever number of hours is necessary, and everything is not decided from them. They have no personal rules, and because they don't set the personal rules, they get trampled by the universe. And what that's one of the first lessons I learned. I learned that maybe 2 years into a business, I was in a seminar in Florida, and they were doing roundtables there. The event was called JV, like joint venture, JV Alert, and it was just other business owners, like no big gurus, just like other business
Mhm.
owners there. But I was lucky enough that as they were doing little masterminds, I was sitting at a round table with about 6 people, and one of the people there was a time management like expert. And one of the things that he made me do, we were just chatting, is he said, "Well, you have to take a notebook and in your calendar, in your agenda for the week, what are the times that are dates with yourself or like meetings with yourself? If
Mhm.
this is forbidden for anybody else, especially for business and work, to get into this time." And I thought about it and I said, okay, well, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., I guess ideally I would like to like have time to cook, because I cook myself lunch. I don't want to like order food or whatever. Want to have time to cook and to eat, and maybe have like a micro nap, and even read a little bit from a book before I go back to work. And so he said, okay, so just do that for the next like 4 weeks in your calendar. You just block out. There is the most important meeting of my day is from 1 to 3 p.m. every day for the next 4 weeks. And it's meeting with just me.
Mhm.
Um, and so I did that, and it was so amazing. I did that in 2009 that I have kept this rule since. So it's been 17 years. This guy, I was
Wow.
I've never seen other people. That's just one of the rules. And so what I found is that if you have strong boundaries that are reasonable, the universe will bend to them. It's like the universe will test it all the time. When I hired my assistant, like she would always be like, oh yeah, but there's this interview or whatever, and they are only available at 2:15 p.m. Can we make an exception? And if you start saying yes to, let's make an exception on the first week that somebody is on the job, this is the new rule. You're going to end up with 1,000 exceptions in the next year. So I said, no, but this is a rule. It's written in your Sébastien scheduling rules, my Google Calendar. You cannot book me on those times. And so that's how you keep it. So I think for every entrepreneur, I would say you need to have these boundaries around times where you're just not available for business. For instance, when I spend time with my daughter, I do not have any meetings. It doesn't matter if it's an investor, a customer, like whatever. I am not available, and this time is booked, and she knows this. And that means that, as you said, the rules, you can have a good life and have a business that is in service to that good, amazing life full of freedom, instead of business first, and then let's try to squeeze in some like father-daughter time somewhere if I am available. Like, you just shift it on its head, and that's where life becomes really enjoyable. Like as a father, as an entrepreneur, and just like that will sustain your energy.
Uh, Thank you for taking me back to your story. Uh, there was years when I started this podcast in 2018, and someone asked me, they used to come out of the gate, what are your numbers? How many people? I'm like, I don't have large numbers. What I have is a larger reach because I target my time, I target my, my resources, like you said, in that sense. But you took me back when I worked a regular job, and I would get off and be extremely tired. But I started a routine of walking 1 mile, and it ended up being 5 miles. And I would do it faithfully at the same time, 2 to 3 times a week, as you said. And I would put my headphones on, and I would listen to a podcast or an audiobook or something. And that's that dedicated time. And if I would get a phone call, unless it was a spam call, I would take it only on the walk. I would not stop the routine.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, I've been contemplating before I go out and do my current part-time revenue generating job. Because I'm retired, but I have the real money come in right now. So what would it look like if I took that same level of dedication, what you just talked about, and moved it maybe to 7 to 9 a.m., maybe 3 days a week, and get the walking started again. Faithfully dedicate that time again, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. Because I felt so much better, as you said. I was clearer and thought I could get more done. And that time was dedicated in the evenings. Uh, because I'm living out a lot of what you mentioned. Others have said similar. The time I leave the house, I'm going. I need to get this. I'm eating on the run. I don't do this. I don't do that unless I have a guest coming on the show. Then I block that out. But it's only really dedicated time. But it's not the personal time you talked about just
Yeah.
for yourself. Um, Blocking out that personal time, even for the home front. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I needed a reminder. I'm glad you told your story. Again, we took business, went right back to the core, a story. It's so easy to get lost in the shuffle. It's so
Exactly.
easy, like I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. And you
Sure.
mentioned dedicated time for lunch, dedicated time for your daughter, your personal time. It makes us feel better. Makes us move better. I think. I thank you for sharing that. I'm really laid back, as you can tell. I have
I
my
will. I
superheroes
will
on the
also.
wall and that stuff. But go ahead.
Is it Deadpool and Wolverine back there?
Yeah, but of course I'm blocking out my favorite Batman.
Okay.
Uh, are you one guess like I can tell your personality is like, yeah, I'm kind of nerdy and geeky. I need to get some Star Trek posters up there.
I'm a
But I
Marvel guy.
use those particular individuals, comic book characters, because in their stories, those that know the stories, I'm not gonna go deep in it, your topics. They all have found this way to harness technology to, well, best especially Batman in some way or another, to get so much more done and still be successful in what they do in the comic books. Uh, Sometimes art imitates life. I'm not gonna talk so much that people lose track of what you said, though. So I'm gonna get off of this. uh,
Oh no, we can geek out on on comics. There's no problem. I'm more of a Marvel guy myself.
I'm a DC guy, hardcore, but those are
Yeah.
my favorite DC because they're invincible. I mean, you kill them, you bring them back. You destroy them, they're still here. Except for Iron Man, he's my equivalent of Batman. That's another techie guy. So another
Mhm.
tech guy. But yeah, thank you, sir, for coming on this morning, uh, causing a major shift in my normal routine. Um, which is my new normal actually, because I've decided to no longer bring guests on Saturdays and Sundays. I needed that free time. I've been ripping and going so much, so now it's only during the weekdays. And if early morning is required, that's fine, or late afternoons, that's fine. Uh, Thank you for your insights. And any closing thoughts to anyone that has chosen to harness the power of AI? Well, how can your company benefit anyone that's listening in a nutshell? That's basically what I'm asking. How can your company benefit anyone by them reaching out to your business, to you?
Oh, you mean how will our company specifically or AI
Yeah,
in general?
your company and all that you do benefit someone. This
Okay. Um,
Because
we
you are
have a
international in scope, so they can get you. Yeah.
yeah, we have a little bit of a counter. We go against the current in terms of our stance about
hmm
AI. Many of the companies, like software companies that create AI tools,
hmm
they see AI as a way to kind of replace the human there, right? So
hmm
that you say, well, maybe I don't know, I'm tired of recording myself on video. I don't want to have to care about like the decor and
hmm
whatever, like how I look, and so maybe I can just have AI talk instead of me. We believe at OneTake, we believe that that's the wrong approach because people will get really tired of consuming synthetic content. And instead, what we believe in is that AI should be something that gives you superpowers. It gives
hmm
you the ability to do things at a scale and a leverage that you could not accomplish before. But it still has to be meaningful work. And so I'll give an example. A couple of days ago, I was on a conference and the speaker was saying, well, if you make a list of all of the people that you would hire in your dreams, if money was not a problem, then just like make an AI agent for each of those jobs.
hmm
And I think this is not the way to think of it for one reason, which is if really you're thinking like that, you're going to make a lot of what people call bullshit jobs, which is like
hmm
it, it didn't need to be done, and now just because it's cheap, you have something that's just spinning like things like just in the background because it's cheap. It's like you're renting a place and they say, well, you're not paying for the AC, so the AC is turned on even though you're not in the
hmm
marketplace, right? It's kind of the same. I think we have to be mindful and say, well, what's the impact that I want to have in the world? How can I impulse that? So I do the first 10%, I create the emotional and the human connection there. And I'm going to use AI to not remove my thinking, not remove my voice, not remove my connection with others, but instead so that I can focus on my thinking and my voice and my connection with others, and AI is going to do the rest. So what OneTake does is positioned to do this. It's for people who have an expertise and they want to create online courses, content where they teach, like masterclasses, podcasts, long form content, and then maybe short form content, like clips from those.
Mm-hmm.
And OneTake makes that super easy because we take the raw material, but you still have to bring yourself, right? Bring
Mm-hmm.
the raw material. That's the value that we provide.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Everyone, I'm closing this up like this today. Uh, Please reach out to Sébastien. Reach out to his
Yeah.
business.
Easy,
Whether you're
OneTake.ai,
one
or
take
if you
guy,
want to try it for free, it's try.onetake.ai.
okay. Um, Whether you're a podcaster, writer, there's the benefits of using AI are beyond anything imaginable. Sometimes I tell people that we're living in the age of Star Trek, in a sense. I mean, it's the reality now. Minus
But
certain
hopefully we
things.
can skip to the age of where the TV series happens without going through, like in the Star Trek history, they went through like quite a lot of struggle to go
Yeah, they
from
did.
capitalistic society to utopia. In the middle, there was a lot of things that we don't want to go through. So let's
Don't
hope
want to
that
go
we.
through. You're right. We don't. We could talk a lot about a lot of things today. I see that now. But thank you, Kitchen. Everyone, catching another episode of Life is About More Than Living. Another amazing guest on this Friday. It will be available on Spotify in replay and audio format. Everyone, as always, or wherever you listen to podcasts at. Uh, Thanks to the beautiful power of AI. Some multiple platforms around the world. Uh, but if you have caught the show on YouTube, become a subscriber. Uh, and definitely follow up with this amazing gentleman and his business and what it's doing. They're going against the grain to empower, uplift, and make other people's lives better from the business model down to the personal level. Enjoyed having you on the show today, sir. Thank you again.
Appreciate you,
I'm going to
Alfred.
take your camera, close this thing out, and I will send you audio link of the show file once I get it uploaded.
YouTube as well, if
Uh,
you are streaming on YouTube. Send me the link.
so you can plug in the audio wherever you like to plug it in. And yeah, I thank you again because we could have went off of comic books and everything today. Been talking for another hour. All right. Sebastian, I'm taking your camera. Have an
Appreciate
amazing day. And thank you for all you've done and continue to do in the business world. Goodbye.
it. Bye.
In